Hello everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, we're going to be checking out Doc's Fix-A-Pad. Yeah, I don't know any more than that, so let's go ahead and check it out. So I recently went to Play Expo Manchester. I'll leave the link to the vlog in the description. It's a really cool video. I'd appreciate it if you could check it out. And yeah, basically, I picked up this for £15. I really wanted to pick up a couple of things whilst I was there to make some videos on, because it's really nice to actually physically browse different things and games and consoles and controllers and bits and bobs like that in person, because usually I do it on eBay, so it was nice to actually flick through stuff. So I found this for £15. As you can see, there is the price on the bottom. It's all sealed. It's in a little plastic bag, but inside it's actually still sealed, which is good. So it's sort of in this like yellow box, and yeah, Doc's Fix-A-Pad. So I noticed on the back it says 1990s Doc's high-tech game products, and then a little address. Doc's is a registered trademark of Doc's high-tech game products. Nintendo is a registered trademark of Nintendo. So I don't think this is actually licensed by Nintendo. There isn't anything on there to suggest that. As your Nintendo system ages or is heavily played, buttons and parts begin to wear, causing cross-directional A and B and start and select switches to stop working. A little bit naughty using the word switches there. Fix-A-Pad contains the parts necessary to rebuild 2 controllers, including a controller screwdriver and easily to follow directions. So I did bring my my toolkit, my trusty toolkit, but I think we'll put that to the side and use just what's in here. So let's go ahead and open this up. This isn't particularly rare or anything. They're quite hard to find, but when you do, they're not a lot of money. I think I saw 2 on the American eBay for like £7 or £8. So yeah, it's in a really nice little box though, very well presented. And okay, so inside we have a very long screwdriver. That's a Phillips screwdriver, I'm presuming. Yep, Phillips screws. Then we have this little bag, which is a concoction of membranes and buttons, but I should point out the buttons are not the right color. And then we have our little manual. So let's pop this to the side. I have got a controller to test this on. This was sold as faulty. I will retro bright this and clean it up in the video, so you can look forward to that. And here's the little manual here. So, okay, let's just go ahead and follow it. So the first thing it's saying is turn over the controller so the 6 screws on the back are facing up. Remove the screws and lift off the back cover. Let's do that then. The screwdriver is pretty cheap. Right, we're on the last screw. Let's just get this done. This has been a painful process. I wouldn't advise using Doc's Fix-A-Pad screwdriver. And then lift the back off. Oh, there goes all the screws. Lift up the brown circuit board and set it to the right side of the open controller. Okay, let's do that then. Set it to the right side of the open controller. It doesn't actually show it being removed completely in the diagram, but I'm going to do that because we're going to want to give that a clean with some isopropyl alcohol. This is a perfect example of why you would be replacing these membranes. As you can see, inside where the little black contact is that actually bridges these 2 connections on the board, creating a circuit and then obviously making a button press, they're all very shiny, and that's sort of like a layer of oxidization. It's sort of a layer of multiple things, but the main result of that is sometimes you don't get a registered button press. So that's why they're suggesting to replace these. Obviously, you can just give these a clean. I don't really know why you'd need to spend money on buying this stuff, and I especially don't know why they've included buttons. But the buttons they've included are not the right colors. They're not even close. Here is the actual Nintendo D-pad, and here is the Doc's Fix-A-Pad. So it's obviously made out of the same sort of a similar mold. The arrows are slightly smaller on Doc's one, but yeah, the color is horribly wrong. So before we put that together, let's go ahead and retro bright these, and we'll give them a nice scrub in the sink. We'll get a bit of isopropyl on the motherboard, and then we'll put the whole thing back together and see what it's like. So I just gave the NES controller a nice scrub in the sink, and it's come out looking rather good. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of cling film, then you take a little bit of this stuff, which is some cream peroxide. I picked this up from Boots, which is just a local pharmacy, for I think about £1, so it's a really, really inexpensive process. And just go ahead and pour a lot of it on the controller. So you mostly want to get it on the bleached, on the parts which are actually damaged. I'm not sure what effect this is going to have on the sticker, so we can take a look at that together. It could actually completely ruin it or not, but obviously there's bits of that yellow plastic everywhere. So the cling film is basically to stop the hydrogen peroxide from evaporating. So it's quite an important step to get some of that on there. And then just sort of squeeze it all around to cover up the controller and the sides and whatnot. And yeah, the more thorough you are with this, the better result you'll get. This is only a really, really cheap controller, so I'm not too worried about how this turns out. It's actually probably cheaper to just buy a new one in better condition. And then you just want to pop it into a nail hardener, like a UV nail hardener. You just pop it in there and turn it on, and you're going to leave it in there for probably about an hour or two. It just depends on how yellow it is and how big the surface area is. So obviously I'm going to make you guys wait for that. What we can do in the meantime is grab a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and give the button PCB a nice little clean. It's in really, really nasty condition. It actually looks like there's some sort of corrosion on the traces down there as well. So, but you can see all of the nasty layers of stuff just coming off there, and that will really give you a much better contact on all buttons. This honestly is a completely universal process. Another thing you'll probably want to do is give the cable a clean. These NES controller cables are ridiculously long, but they do get really, really dirty over the years. So what I advise for this is just get some sort of a multi-surface polish or a cleaner. Even just some water honestly would work. But this also makes things look and smell a little bit nicer. Get the kitchen roll sort of covered in it, fold it up like a little sandwich, get quite a tight grip on it, and then you just pull the controller cable through while squeezing a lot on the cable. And you shall see, when you open it up, all of the dirt that comes off it. It's quite a nice process. After that, you can take a nice little wet wipe, preferably something that smells good, because that just makes everything nicer. And then I'm just going to give it one more sort of little wipe down, and it will leave the cable looking and smelling very, very nice. Okay, and probably about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes later, we now have our newly retro brightened NES controller. It's the same one, there's the little chip. There's still a little bit of yellowing around the sides. You'll probably be able to see a small difference, although it's really not a major difference, and it looks a heck of a lot better than it did before. Just for the sake of it, I also gave the membranes and buttons that came from this a clean. The D-pad came out looking rather good, as did the A and B buttons, so they're pretty good as well. The A and B membranes and the start and select membranes came out looking pretty fine as well, to be honest with you. And last but not least, I noticed that the membrane from the D-pad was actually slightly broken. So that does happen over time. Maybe this hasn't been such a waste after all. But the last thing we should do is follow the instructions and put it back together. And hopefully we'll see how it looks. All right, so here we go. Step 4. Now remove the start, select, response pad and directional response pad and buttons. Replace with the corresponding parts from the kit. Be sure the black magnets face up as indicated. Are they magnetic? Not sure that they are, but okay, let's do that then. So we'll pop in our bright orange D-pad. I'm really quite excited to see how this is going to look at the end. We'll pop in our start and select membranes, making sure that the black magnets are faced up. And last but not least, our bright neon yellow A and B buttons, and then we can pop the corresponding black magnet membrane in. Okay, so we'll just drop that in, And that feels like everything's in there. And then we just need to pop the cable back in the way that it was, which is like that. Replace the circuit board, making sure to realign cord as shown. Replace back cover screws. Okay, let's do that then. Pop that on the back. It would have been really nice if it did come with replacement screws. Okay, there we go. That is that. Let's see. So this is just a little reference figure at the bottom. Be sure to look for Doc's other Fix-It products. Wow! Doc's Fix-A-Gain cartridge cleaning kit, Doc's auto switch replacement RF switch for Nintendo, Doc's Fix-A-System Plus system and cartridge cleaning kit, Doc's power-up AC adapter for Nintendo. Okay, I've got to track those down or something because that sounds sick. Right, before we turn it over, have we got any predictions of how this is going to look? Oh, I didn't put the D-pad membrane back in there. Okay, there we go. I put the D-pad membrane in there now. Gonna be completely honest with you, big improvement on the sort of sponginess of the springiness, if you will, of the button membranes. You're definitely gonna get some definitive button presses out of that. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to show like a before and after of how the button responds. Obviously, it's gonna respond better. Like it's not. It doesn't need to be proven because with a new set of membranes, cleaning with isopropyl alcohol, obviously it's gonna respond better. Should we bother talking about how ugly this thing is? I mean, I guess maybe in the period of the 90s, having a neon orange and yellow buttons is probably quite cool. And when everyone's controllers were looking like this, having one looking like that probably wasn't that bad. I had fun experimenting with this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.